Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey. Welcome back to another episode of Coming to the Stage. As always, I'm so excited to have the opportunity to share space with you and introduce you to another powerful woman with a powerful message and a powerful voice that when you hear her, she is going to uplift you, she's going to encourage you, she's going to inspire you, and she is going to empower you forward. If you are new here to Coming to the Stage, hey, okay, so I am Andromeda Raheem. I am the founder of She Wins Society. And on this season of Coming to the Stage, we are introducing you to the women who are going to be gracing our empowerment stage at the She Wins Conference and Awards in Atlanta, Georgia on November 9th of this year. Okay. So you're going to get the opportunity to just kind of get a preview and a sneak peek into what you can expect if you do plan on joining us in Atlanta, or if you can't make it, that's okay, because there's still so many gems that you can pick up from this series. So stay locked in with us. And without further ado, I am going to go ahead and bring our next guest to the stage. Okay. This is Jeri Guyette-Beckles. Okay. Sis is married now. She's hyphenated. And she is an award-winning entrepreneur and the CEO of Vintage Vixen Cosmetics, which is a pioneer in her industry. And she's going to tell you all about that when she comes to the stage. So y'all go ahead and put your hands together. I can't hear you clapping, but go ahead and put your hands together for our next guest, Jeri Guyette-Beckles. Welcome, Jeri.
Hi,
Andromeda. Hello, beautiful. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing amazing. You look beautiful. I'm so excited to have you join us today. So, as I shared with the people, you are a pioneer in your industry. You're doing something you're the first to do this thing, right? So, can you tell us a little bit more about you, Vintage Vixen Cosmetics, and what makes you a pioneer?
Well, again, my name is Jeri Guyette-Beckles, and like you said, I am hyphenated because I am newly married. Thank you. I'm so excited. But I'm also the CEO and founder of Vintage Vixen Cosmetics, where we are the first color cosmetics that's especially created for multi-ethnic middle-aged women. And that means that if you're 35 years and finer, and I do say finer, darlings, because we're not older, we are getting finer. I am going to tell you that this cosmetic line has been really a great inspiration for me. This line is specifically formulated for us because as we're hitting menopause, as we're aging, we're having different changes with our skin. We're having estrogen depletion. We're losing collagen and elasticity. We're finding what's called dermal collapse, which is normally called your wrinkles. And I found it that, I've been in the industry for over 35 years. And with my situation myself, I'm a person that if you don't have a solution to the problem, then you need to create that solution to that problem. And I was having some issues with my own skin as I started, aging and hit menopause when I turned 51. So I just turned 55, and I'm so excited about that as well, because again, I love to embrace the gift of longevity. But what our products do is we tend to use more botanicals that's nourishing, that's going to be hydrating, that's going to put back that moisture that we're losing, and we're going to get that protection with the barrier. And I found out when I was doing research, again, there is a big age gap with our beauty industry, and there is a gap where it's absent for women who are aging. So we're not worried about the color, we're always worried about the age with this product. I am a Black owned cosmetic company, and that's really important to note because sometimes they like to put you in a niche, but this is for any woman, multi-ethnic, of course, that is going through those changes. We do include 35-year fine women because sometimes they have surgical menopause, and that can, spearhead them and boost them into early menopause. So they're going to go have the same issues that we're having with our skin issues. We're going to have more dehydration. We're going to have more irritation, sometimes more bruising. So we like to include those sisters among that as well. And of course, as you stated, being a pioneer and a visionary, that means that in the whole history, and I can tell you that's a long history, Andromeda, and the whole history of the beauty industry, There's never been a cosmetic company specifically geared for menopausal women, which I found really, really, upsetting in the beginning, because we right now have one of the largest demographics in the whole history of mankind, of menopausal women. Like 1.5 million women every year in America alone enter menopause. So that means next year we're going to have some more menopausal women that's going to have these personal summers. They're going to be surging like me, 1.5 million next year. And that's just in the States alone. So that means that the beauty industry has to come aboard, and they have to recognize that we're not going anywhere. We're living longer and we have special needs. So this is why I can say we're pioneering in that, and we're hoping to have other cosmetic brands jump on board and realize that we do have the disposable income. And we also have women who would love to have products, who would love to have things that's geared towards us so that we can be recognized.
That's so good and so necessary. Like, it's so needed. We're so glad that you thought about this and also had the vision and the courage and all of the things necessary, right, to bring this thing to life. So we appreciate you for that. I'm so curious to know, what is one of your most popular products?
Our popular products are our leading ladies, which are our lipsticks. Our lipsticks contain avocado oil, vitamin E, shea butter. We have coconut oil. So right now we launched with, at least in the beginning, 10. We had 10 leading ladies. We call them the leading ladies. They're all Hollywood inspired. They're inspired by women like Marilyn Monroe, Eartha Kitt, Dorothy Dandridge. I'm wearing the Dandridge right now, darling. She's Dandridge, beautiful color. And, we have them from Horn. They're all inspired because those women are not just famous women, but they're women who pioneered women's rights movements. They were activists. They were, those who were, I would say, philanthropists, humanitarian. And so we like to do that so that other women know that that's the second chapter of their lives. They can do just as many great things as these wonderful women. So our lipsticks are our main line. And then we also have a 24K gold collagen mask. And we put that on because of the puffiness that can happen. It helps with the fine lines. It also helps with the discoloration. So those two, I would say, would be our top ones, but mainly because we do have a matte lipstick. We still stick with the bullet. It doesn't have alcohol. It's paraben free. And of course, that's really important too, because what we have to realize is in our cosmetics, we want to look at what the ingredients are. And when it's paraben free, that's awesome because parabens can mimic what's called estrogen, and they can come onto these little receptors. And I know it gets really kind of complicated, so I'm trying to keep it in layman's terms because I am a scientist, but that's important because it can help cause cancer with women. So one of the things I wanted to make sure is we're going to be applying something, especially, of course, to the area that's going to be the driest, which is our lips. And then we're going to hope to grow from there. We also do have our lash line, and then we have our beautiful eye color cosmetics, which is our palette. And the palette is having like what's called ethically sourced palm oil, and that's going to help glide over our crepe skin as we age.
Yes. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And I love that you mentioned that you are a scientist, right? Because when I was reading all about you, just kind of getting into your business a little bit, and I was seeing that you have all of this experience when it comes to the industry of skin. Like, can you just give us a little bit about that, like all of your different years and years worth of experience and education that you have in this particular
Wow. Well,
You have a lot. I know
years
you
and
have a
years. We
lot.
have some years. Well, I started out in the beginning. I was modeling when I was a teenager, and I'm only 5'6". So the industry back then, you had to be about 5'7", 5'9", and that was without heels. But I've always been drawn to fashion and makeup. So I ended up going to New York to become a makeup artist. In 1987 when I graduated high school. So I went to become a makeup artist because even though I want to be in the fashion industry, I knew I would never do couture. I knew I couldn't be the magazines, but I still wanted to be around that. Well, back in the day, because they don't do that now, but back in the day, you couldn't even be a makeup artist without a cosmetology license. So I had to go and do the full umbrella to do the hair, the makeup, the skincare. I had to do the nails, everything just to become a makeup artist. Like even the ones in Bloomingdale's, they had a license back then. So I went to beauty school and found out that, of course, even though I love makeup, I jumped into the skincare more so because all of my customers that were coming to me for makeup, and I would do off Broadway shows and plays, and I would work with these models. Their skin was terrible. You know, we would have acne. I suffered from acne myself. I still do have outbreaks occasionally. And so I noticed that they were sending them more to me. And I was like, I'm a makeup artist. I mean, I had it on license, but I'm a makeup artist. So I started looking more into aesthetics, and they had the aesthetics program that once you receive your umbrella license in the state of New York, then you can go for 6 more months for aesthetic school. So you can go in Manhattan. So I kind of fell into skincare for the need for myself to find products with my acne and to help some of my makeup clients. And then that led me into working with dermatologists and eventually working with plastic surgeons. So over the years, I've traveled around the world. I've lived in different countries, and I've always educated myself by going to different aesthetic school, different seminars that doctors will have. And I ended up with the Dallas Institute of Advanced Aesthetic Medicine with Dr. Fatih Pham. Now, he was the one who helped me to understand that as a woman of color, Black women can have microdermabrasion. We can also have chemical acid peels. I myself give myself an acid peel every 6 months. And because of that, I realized that there was a gap for women who were not being treated because of their skin color. So they didn't really know what to do with our Black skin, with our any ethnicity skin. So I made that a point of my being my specialty. And then over the years, with that being my specialty, I was able to work with a lot of pioneers in the fields, doctors and surgeons, and then fell into laser hair removal, laser skin rejuvenation. So I got about 35 years in there. When I was in my treatment rooms, I would notice that they would have issues. And that was when I would say I started formulating, but I didn't know I was formulating because I was just mixing concoctions to help my facial clients to be the best that they could be.
Yes. So, I mean, I wanted you to share this because I mean, I love it. Like I said, when I was reading, I was like, okay, she's that girl. Like very
Yeah.
well rounded, very well traveled, very well educated, very experienced. Like you know what you're talking about. I know that, you know, there's a lot of people out here who are creating different products and things like that who don't have nearly as much as a background that you do. So it gives us confidence that when you are putting these products out for us, that you actually know about the ingredients that are in them, that they're safe for us, and that they are meant to actually benefit us in a variety of different ways. So we appreciate you for doing the work to provide us with quality products.
Of course, thank you. One of the things that I really think helped me to become more confident about putting out a product was not just the background as far as being in the aesthetics portion of it, where I was the service provider, where I was the person that they did the consultations and doing all of the seminars and the trainings with the surgeons and the nurses. But I went back to school when I was 35 years old. And being back to school after being out of school for 17 years, it took me 11 years to get my bachelor's degree. And I did that with different surgeries and different issues that I was having while raising my kids. So having to go back to school to dust off that brain, so to speak, it's like I went back to school and became a biologist, and I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2016. So I was in my 40s then when I did that. So started in my 30 at 35, and I kept going. So that's how I can say, you know, that you're going to be unstoppable, because if it's something you really want to do, you're going to do it. So I became this scientist. I started working in the medical field as a lab tech too. So having the biology background and the medical background helps you to understand, because what people forget is the skin is an organ. It's the largest organ we have. So we have to be aware of what we put in our body so that we can nourish the skin, but also what we put on the outside. And so when you were mentioning about you seeing a lot of people do these formulations, or they would do these cosmetic companies and they'll come out. Sometimes it's easy to just pick something and say, hey, it's popular. But you're right. I've been talking to a lot of my chemists. When I first started my brand, my biggest hurdle was finding a company that's going to deal with me with a small MOQ, you know, minimum order quantity. And a lot of companies are not going to do that when you want to have, you know, your own business. So some of the things you have to do is you have to start at home. We do see that they start at the kitchen. You know, I had the privilege starting in my facial rooms, but I've noticed that sometimes when you question the brand about what's in there, what benefit is it going to be, you're going to see a lot of brands still have a lot of products that are drying. You're going to still have products that are having names that our customers cannot pronounce. And so it's really important for me to let them know that, yes, we didn't just create a brand, we didn't curate a brand, you know, and there's a difference. Curating a brand, we went right on into the formulation and we tweaked it. So the lipsticks that we have now is actually my fourth formulation. The first one was a little too drying, you know, Andromeda. That was, you know, but we had to tweak it and get it right. And I am such a perfectionistic person. I'm kind of OCD. So to me, I love the products, but I'm always still working. I'm always trying to figure out what's the best innovation we can do to bring to market for our changing needs that we have with our customers. So it's just interesting, you know, for me and exciting for me to be able to come and say, yes, you can still have the business you want. You don't have to listen to society about how old you should have done. You know, I've had people go, well, you should have did it back then. And when I started this company, I've had a lot of naysayers. They're like, well, you know, there's a lot of cosmetic companies out there. But there are also a lot of bread brands out there too. You know?
Absolutely. I know that's right. Truly inspirational. Like so many gems you dropped, especially the ones about it's not too late. Also, you know, because society tells us, right, a lot of times, like, especially when it comes to women, for
Yeah.
sure, there's a
Yeah.
lot of age limits that are put on us. Like, oh, you're too old to be dressing like that. Oh, it's too late for you to go back to school. Oh, if it hasn't happened already, then you should just give it up and forget about it. And I just
Exactly. We're
love
not
that you
going with
said,
that.
we're not going to do that. I love that you said, like, I went back to school. And yeah, there were some different challenges and obstacles that made the process longer than it might have been for others, but I stayed in it and I completed it. And I think that when we talk about us becoming an unstoppable entrepreneur, which is the panel that you're speaking on, that is like one of the biggest lessons, I think, when it comes to entrepreneurship, because oftentimes when people get ready to start a business, when they get ready to step out there and, you know, put their dreams, goals, and visions out there, and they're not getting as much momentum as quickly, or they're not seeing the sales come as fast, or they're running into different challenges and obstacles along the way, then that causes them to give up. So you really just kind of started the discussion about becoming an unstoppable entrepreneur right then and there. So on your journey as an entrepreneur, what is one of the most valuable lessons that you have learned?
I would tell you I've learned to I would say prioritize self-care. Because again, I am OCD and it's got to get done. You can run like a rat race, you know, you're going to go in that circle. But 2020, I think, sat us all down.
Come
I
on.
think 2020 said is a wake up call for everybody. And it was really for me, I had to. When 2020 happened, mind you, we had only launched June 15, 2019. So we are a fairly new company and we launched only online. So we had a lot of pop-ups lined up, a lot of traveling to do to kind of get people familiar with the brand, because it's not like they could walk on a brick and mortar and try us out. So I started going live on Saturdays in August of 2019, only on Saturdays, so I can do my swatches so they can get familiar with us. And then when 2020 happened, I was working a full-time job, but of course now I'm working from home like everyone else, you know, remotely. And so I would do a 9 to 5 job and then get off and then go get glammed up for my Saturday, for my live. And so what I found is I went live for 6 days a week in 2020 for 3 months straight, just so that we can try to keep ourselves afloat so we can pivot. And I did not realize that after that, I became so dehydrated. I already had other underlying health issues. So I ended up going to the hospital. I ended up having to have IV. You know, I just was overworking myself because really going, like they say, go hard for your business, you know. And so I had learned that I wasn't prioritizing my health the way I should have, because I went into, you know, that mode, that struggle mode, and you know, that anticipated mode. And so after that, it's like, look, you already had other health issues before. And it just is going to get exacerbated if you don't put that first. So I had to put myself as an entrepreneur on a schedule. And I had to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And whether they see you 6 days, if they see you 6 times, if a sale is going to happen, a sale is going to happen. You just have to put those particular things in place. And I learned to go back to the basics. I learned to say no. I learned to say, is that better for my brand? And is it better for me? And so I would say that's the most lesson, the valuable thing is to take care of yourself, because you are the nucleus and everything else satellites around you. So if you don't take care of yourself, everything is going to fall apart. And that's when I had to take a step back and say, okay, yes, my business is my baby, but I have to take care of me too. So yeah, I just say self-care in this arena as being an entrepreneur, and especially being an entrepreneur and still working a full-time job. I think we have to do what's called prioritization. And once we do that, I think we'll get a better, I won't say work-life balance, because I don't believe that it works that way. I don't believe in work-life balance. I say work-life harmony, because as a woman in business, we never have any balance. It's always going to be something like, so we got to find some harmony. So I found a work-life harmony.
Yes. Ooh, so good. I'm so glad you said that. I think that any person who has been an entrepreneur for long enough comes to that conclusion that you have to make time for self-care, because especially when like you are your business, right? So if you are falling apart, your business is going to be falling apart. Exactly. And we're talking about unstoppable. We've all heard the saying, I'm sure, like, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Like, entrepreneurship is a journey. So when you think about running a marathon, like, you have to have moments where you take breaks, where you refuel. And I like to even think about it like, as a car, right? If you keep driving that car and you don't ever stop to get gas, you don't stop to get a tune-up, you don't stop to get an oil change, you're going to be broken down on the side of the road. And so I don't know why sometimes we think that we can push ourselves so much, but eventually you're going to hit burnout. And I've hit burnout. I've gotten very close to burnout again after hitting burnout. And I promised myself from that point forward, like, no, like, in order for me to show up as my best self, I need to be whole. I need to be complete. I need to be energized. I need to be rested. I need to be hydrated. I need to be nourished. I need all the things, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I need that in order to be able to show up the way I need to be actually successful in my business, and to, like you said, longevity, to see the process through. So I'm so glad that you said
that. You said that you had to be whole, because sometimes we forget that the mental health is part of being whole. Not to forget that you are just more the physical. You do have mental, you have physical, you have spiritual, you have a lot of different things that complete you. And one of the things in the trenches, being an entrepreneur, especially since you've been an entrepreneur much longer than I've been, you have those days where you wonder why you're doing this. And, you have to look at the big picture and not forsake the actual process, but it can make you become depressed. I've gotten depressed. I've cried over a lot of times. It just was like, why would you subject yourself to that? But if you don't take a step back and have something to energize you, something that's going to not just, because I don't say just motivate you, but because you do have, most entrepreneurs have what's called that motivation. They just need to keep that fire going. And you need to have other people that can sharpen you to do that. So most times you are either the only entrepreneur in your family, the first entrepreneur in your family. And so you can't really speak to some of your family and friends about the actual every ins and out of the daily day. But when you can get with some others who are understanding your journey, even though they're all different, but understand that journey and be able to speak to them and have a camaraderie with them, then that does help with your mental health as well. It just gives you that little boost, So that's why I'm excited about this, because this is exactly what we need.
Yes, listen. Yes, absolutely. And it just makes me think about how you showed up to the Stepping into Sisterhood Orlando event that we had. What year was that? That must have been
2023. That was last
2023. Yes. You came to that, you sponsored that event for us, which was such a special thing. And now this year you are going to be speaking on a panel. So I would just love like collaboration. I'm a big person about collaboration. And I think for you to see our event, you know, stepping into sisterhood and say, hey, I want to sponsor, I want to come, I want to be present, I want to be able to gift the attendees something. What does collaboration mean for you?
Collaboration means that, you know, I'm working with you and you're working with me, and we're both working for the same common goal to uplift each other. I believe that, you know, you can't just collaborate with everyone. It has to align with your goals. It has to align with your vision. So you want to make sure you have a good partnership with someone. And that's what collaboration to me is. It's kind of like you watch me and I watch you, you know, and you just kind of come together and have a connection. Sometimes you have brand deals or you'll have influencer marketing, and it just doesn't fit for your vision. But when you collaborate with someone, it's kind of like a teamwork. And like you said, I didn't even know, like I had been following She Wins Society for a long time in my email and online. And to come down and find out you guys are in Orlando. At the time, I was only 3 hours away. So it's like, well, how can I be a part of it? One of the things I did, you know, by reaching out to you and having you accept that, because sometimes you reach out and they're like, oh no, I don't think that'll work. I was like, I just need to come and see what it was like, because I was in a small town in Kingsland and now I'm in Atlanta. And being in a small town in Kingsland, I didn't have that. And I would travel for that. Like I would come to Atlanta for it. And you saw I came down to Orlando for it. You know, I would go so that I can have that kind of camaraderie with other women, the kind of connection with other women, so that we can collaborate. We can create something wonderful together. You know, there's one thing that I love is when you say, you know, women are powerful, you know, but when you're together, you're amazing. You know, you're just phenomenal. So I think having that connection, forging a kind of sisterhood together, not competing with each other, but, you know, just uplifting each other. I think that's what collaboration is. Like, I don't have to knock you down or discount or discredit your talent in order to succeed for myself. You know, you may actually have a strength that I need for my weakness, and my weakness, you know, my strength can help your weakness. It's kind of like this, you know, just helping each other.
Yes, yes. And it's such a good feeling to, I'm sure you can relate as an entrepreneur when you come across people who like see your vision and they want to help you bring your vision to life. Like it just means so much. So, you know, to those people out here who are watching, if you do have someone in your family or a friend who has a business, like do not think that anything is too small to do, whether that's to share their stuff on social media, or maybe they're having an event and you can't make it, or you don't even want to go, right? It's not your jam. You could sponsor a ticket, but like to have people who really see your vision and want to participate, it just means so much. And when you sent in the bags, the gift bags for the Stepping Into Sisterhood, the sponsorship bags, I was just so impressed by what you put together. Like you put a lot of thought into, I could tell. And I'm just like, you're matching my energy, because I like to do things with excellence. She likes to do things with excellence. So this works, right? This is a good collaboration. You didn't just like throw something together and like, boom, here it is. Like you thought into that.
It was, and you know, I'm just gonna call it like it was, and I'm like, you know, we were bougie.
Yeah,
we were. I was, because I love having. I'm coming from the old school, which is why, of course, my brand is about old Hollywood. And old Hollywood to me had so much glamour, but I got to watch all these old movies with my grandmother, and I love the way that everything was so elegant. So growing up, I saw how they would wrap their gifts, you know, like the hat boxes. And when you go shopping, everything was so nicely detailed and so pretty. So even when you purchase something for yourself, it felt like a gift. Like if you're going to spend money on yourself, you know, you want to have something nice. So I come from that mindset. I love doing those kind of things. And then when we brought it down there and I walked in and I saw the ambiance and how it was decorated, I was like, okay, yeah, this is my cup of tea. I like this. This is really nice. And then the women were there. They're like, hi, how you doing? You know, they were talking to me and I talked about, you know, it's just to walk in there when they always have us, like you said, society tends to have women be very catty, or they tend to have women always in competition with each other. But it's like, I know you own your company, I own my company. And we were all just people coming together, women coming together to support even those who have what we call incubator ideas. They left inspired. And I got excited, like, well, I'm going to come to the next one. And then guess what? The next one happened to be here. So look, we both moved here. And now I'm just excited to be able to experience the full spectrum of what's going to happen at this conference.
Yes. Look. It's the alignment for me. I just love how things work out and come together. And you're right. It's for me, it's always about the energy, the experience. I like to leave people better than they came. I like to give people memorable experiences. Like, I put a lot of thought into the experiences, because people, I feel like you said, women, sometimes we have this expectation that there's going to be negative energy, or people are going to be catty, or people are going to be standoffish. And so I always just like to surprise a lot of them. Like, this is not that. This is not that. Like, you're going to be welcomed warmly. You're going to be embraced. You're going to be hugged. Like, it's going to feel good. You're going to feel like you're where you're supposed to be. So I know you're going to.
It was nice. I was gonna say, because it was a nice lady. I met her, and turned out she had not too long started. She had graduated from aesthetic school. And how uncanny is that? Because I'm a paramedical esthetician. So she had just started, and I had all this energy, or this experience. And it was when we were leaving that we were going across the street to go to the parking lot. And we started talking. We struck up a conversation in the foyer of the venue. And we had such a great time. And she was like, I can't believe I met another esthetician of color. And I was like, yes, and laser. So just after that, when we hugged, she was like, I needed that. And that right there was something that's like, yes, we needed that. We needed to, out of the whole room, we found each other. And we both needed to have that hug. Like, I got on the road and she got on the road, but we both traveled distances. She didn't know anybody there. I didn't know anybody there. But we actually exchanged numbers and got in touch with each other. And I just thought that, hey, if I didn't take the first step, I wouldn't have met her, and vice versa. So sometimes that's an environment that we want to have, we want to cultivate, we don't have within our social circle, but you have to be willing to expand that social circle so that you can experience that, so that you can, come out of that box, find women that can be that for you, So I just think if we didn't take that step, but you had to create the event, Andromeda, but we had to take the step to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. I could not have said it any better than that. And again, so that's the mantra, right? When women support women, we all win. That is it, right? Like, I created it. I executed my vision. You all came out and supported it. That benefited me. It benefited you. Everybody won from that circumstance. And so I'm excited for us to continue to show and prove that mantra true. When women support women, we all win. Like, there is enough room for all of us. And there's so much benefit when we choose to come together and unite and support each other. And just, again, as we're talking about unstoppable entrepreneurs, like, you have to constantly be working to build new connections and grow your network and meet people and tell people what you're doing. Like, you have to be willing to do that. And sometimes, like you said, you got to get out of your comfort zone, out of your familiar places, and go out there, because you never know who's out there waiting for what you have to offer.
Exactly. I think about it myself. Sometimes another person's goals and dreams are hinging on you executing yours. So if you're not doing it, and you have this passion, and you have these ideas, and these thoughts don't go away, but you're not acting on it, you may be hindering another person, because you may be the key step for that next person's next milestone. So that's why it's like, if you think about it that way, it's like we all, each one teach one, and we all help do that? Well, since I've started my brand, I found a lot of women who are in their second and third chapters, and they have went on to start their businesses. They've went on to do things they wanted to do, to travel more often, to take new language courses. And it's because, without the brand, even though we're a cosmetic brand, we are a movement, like you say. We're here to disrupt ageism and change beauty standards. And without that process, that has been, something that weighs on me. Is like, what if I decided that I still, even though I wanted to do it, I didn't do it? And I wouldn't meet all these other women who are also doing their own thing. So sometimes you got to think about that and say, well, take that step, because somebody in that audience is waiting to hear from you so that you can spearhead them to go ahead and do what they need to do. And it kind of topples like a domino effect like that.
Yes. Yes. It's so beautiful and powerful when you think about that. I have one more question for you, because I think it's going to be a good for anybody who's an aspiring entrepreneur to hear your answer to this question. Before we came on, we're actually an entrepreneur, somebody who's been an entrepreneur for a while, because social media is a finicky thing, right? And for some of us, we have a love-hate relationship with social media. But before we came here, you shared with me that like you haven't been on your Instagram page since last year because you found that like your audience is on Facebook. And so you're going to spend your time where your audience is. Can you just drop some gems for anybody who is currently feeling like wherever they're currently investing their energy at for promoting their business, marketing their business, like it's not really getting traction? What advice do you have for them?
That would definitely be my advice. In the beginning, I started out in 2019 and I was on all platforms, and I was up to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and then have to go to work. And it's because I was trying to create content for Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. And, I was feeling myself becoming more of a worker for social media and not spending time on my business. So I attended a webinar, and in that webinar, one of the things that was mentioned is like, find out what your analytics are. Go to the back part of your social media and find out where your analytics are. It helped me to determine what was the best time of day to post, what was the best time of week to post, which day. But it also showed me that my demographic, you have to really know your avatar, which is your customer. You have to know your avatar inside and out. You got to know where they live, what their demographics is as far as their income. All of those things go into these metrics. And I found that most of my customers met me on Facebook because I cater to women pretty much 40 and finer. So they're on Facebook. They're interacting with it. Facebook allowed us to have Facebook Lives where we can do tutorials. Whereas, sometimes Instagram, they pop in and they pop out. So I would say, look at your analytics, find out where your people are, and spend most of your energy trying to cultivate that. In that particular webinar, she said, it is better for you to show up fully and to give all of your all to one platform than to spread yourself thin to all these other ones, or you're not going to get an engagement. So yeah, I haven't posted a lot on Instagram because I found out that our customers on Facebook. And when we do that, we have higher engagement. We do have a TikTok. We also have X. We have all those things. But those are so that you can reach us, because in the beginning, they told me to lock down all my social media channels and names. So that's what I did. But coming into the second year of being in business, I realized that was burning me out. And I'm like, I'm not working for Meta, okay? I'm working for Vintage Vixen Cosmetics. And I was doing it for free. I was creating contents. I did reels. I stayed up all week trying to find songs just to create the content on Saturday, edit it on Sunday. And it's like, I realized I'm not putting any business. I went into business. I'm not the energy. So I would say that would be my biggest recommendation, is to find out where you are, check those metrics. I know we don't like to look at metrics. We just want to do our business. But my metrics showed my people were on Facebook. So that's why they can find us on Facebook.
Yes, I love it. What's the say? Go where the money resides.
Go where the money
resides.
And the money resides on that blue app for me over there. So that's where I'm going, over there.
I mean, if you're not making no money, are you really a business?
No. And I was taking a loss too, like Andromeda. I don't know if you saw back in the, if you go back and look at our Instagram page, I was doing all the stuff they said, take all of the trendy music, take the trendy things. And I was sitting here going, this requires me to use my background in theater. And you know what? And then theater, you're supposed to get paid. I wasn't getting paid. And then we qualified for stars. And I was like, okay, great. Now we qualified for being monetized. But it's like, okay, now what? Do I really want to? That's great to be monetized, but my goal was to create Vintage Vixen Cosmetics. And I had to go back to the drawing board and realize what was my goal. And then everything else will follow after that. Just don't lose yourself in the social media, because it will make you feel like you're not scaling fast enough. You're not growing fast enough. And I had to go back and look at, we've been in business for 5 years. And yes, I know a lot of people were just gaining traction, but in those 5 years, we came out of COVID and we were still a company because we pivoted, and I created other products to help us during that time frame. And so I just say, look, I'm going to post when I post. And so a thing about that webinar was, you don't have to post every day. I know they tell you that, but you don't have to post every day. You just have to be consistent. Whether your consistency is once a week, like I do on Saturdays, or if your consistency is on Wednesday and a Friday, as long as they're expecting to see something on that Wednesday or Friday, go ahead and do it that way. And that way you're not going to get burnt out, because I got burnt out. I'm telling you.
I know I did. I know I definitely did. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like you, where I had to ask myself, like, am I trying to be a content creator or influencer? Because I think that that's the difference. Like, people who are content creators and influencers, they dedicate their time to their social media, and that they monetize it and make money from all of their different views. Like, they put all of their energy into that. But if you are a solopreneur, if it's just you that's building your business, you can't give the same kind of energy to your social media as those people do. And so if you're going to spend so much time putting it into your social media, that's taking away time from building your business. And then you're not making any money at all, because you're not getting enough views to actually monetize, and you're not spending time to build your business in a way that's going to allow you to get sales. So it's just really a waste of your time. I think that as a business owner, you have to just recognize social media as a tool. It's a marketing tool to reach more people, reach your audience, but it's not necessarily about all the views and all the things that you can get, because that's your goal is not to necessarily monetize your social media. You're not like you said, I'm not working for Meta. Like, that's not my job here. My job here is to build and grow my brand. And to your point, I wanted to share too that I've learned for myself that my email list is one of the most valuable ways for me to market my business. And so, right now, currently with Instagram, I've pivoted, I've changed some things. Like, my page was really built on me sharing a lot of inspirational quotes. These days, I'm really focused on just showing the work that we're doing with women, whether it be our events, our retreats, just giving a clear view of what it is that She Wins Society offers. And so I've watched engagement decline. However, today is, September 18th, 2024. And we have 25 tickets left to the She Wins Conference.
Almost sold out.
Almost sold out. No engagement on Instagram. What did you say?
I said, I don't think you're going to have any tickets by the end of the month. If you only got 25, that's all the way to November 9th.
They're going.
Get your tickets.
If you wait until the last minute, I'm telling you, the last minute, you're going to be disappointed, because the tickets are going. But that's just my point. Like, people might be out there like, oh, her engagement is low, but my sales are fine. They're better than fine.
Don't worry about the engagement being low. What they said, sometimes it takes celebrities, and sometimes it takes one big thing for people to notice you. And then that's what makes it look like this facade of overnight success. So you may have lower engagement on social media, but as long as you have higher engagement and sales on your website and in your business, which is what you started to begin with. So I don't know about that. The engagement comes, I said, it comes like in waves. Right after you have an event, you'll see an uptick, and then it comes back down. It happens to the best of us. It's going to happen, and it's going to keep happening as long as they keep changing that algorithm too.
Okay. Okay, so don't let what's the moral of the story? Do not allow your social media engagement to define your success as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. Okay, like do not.
No.
Do not. Oh, this has been such a good conversation, Jerry. We went overtime, but that's okay because I think that everything that was shared was necessary and good for the people.
We went overtime.
We did.
That means what? If we have to have an encore November 9th.
Listen. So yes, if you want to hear more from Jeri, if you want to be in the space of this beautiful woman and share energy with her, make sure that you at the She Wins Conference and Awards on November 9th in Atlanta, Georgia. You can find more information about this event at shewinsociety.com. And Jeri, before we go, because this live is going to live on our YouTube page forever and ever, and on our Facebook page as well. So for anybody who comes across it, please let them know how they can connect with you and Vintage Vixen Cosmetics.
We're all, of course, on all social media platforms at Vintage Vixen Cosmetics. And you can also email us at info@vintagevixencosmetics.com. So you can reach out because we do answer our emails. We do have a lot of customers email us sometimes with questions about the products, And of course, if you want to really, really see more of us, kind of like this on the live, you can reach us on Facebook, facebook.com, Vintage Vixen Cosmetics. We go live on Saturdays where we talk to you live. So there you have it.
Yes. All right. Again, thank you, Jeri, so much for your time today. Thank you for all that you share. I cannot wait to see you in person. I have a big old hug waiting for you, and I know a time is going to be had. Okay.
It's been a year, woman. It's been a year.
Yes. So y'all make sure that you tune in to the next episode of Coming to the Stage this Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be right here again on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure that y'all connect with Jeri. And again, make sure you visit shewinsociety.com to learn more about the She Wins Conference and Awards. Thank you again, Jeri, for your time. Until next time, you all keep growing, keep blowing, keep winning. Bye.